So the Lotus 38 was the first ever mid-engine car to win the Indy 500. Its successor, the Lotus 49, never did visit the Indy 500, as the only American tracks the 49 saw were Watkins Glen International and Circuit Mont Tremblant. Though, one has to mention that the low banks of India are about 1,000 miles north to where we are situated today, as we are at the high banks of the Daytona International Speedway, which is most definitely going to mix up the field and open up the chances to win to pretty much anyone who has signed up today. So buckle up, get some popcorn, and join us today as we get ready to watch round 10 of the Grand Prix Legends Series live here on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines today will be Adam Young, joining myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes, our director Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. The Lotus 49 and ovals is always one great combination to witness. Different challenges, more speed and closer racing. These warriors have chosen Daytona as their oval of choice this season. So let's get a better look at what makes Daytona so special in our GSRC track guide.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and put up the information on Daytona here today. Of course, if you don't know Daytona, well, I don't know what to tell you. Of course, 2.5 miles, 31-degree bank turns. It's one of those places that, like Indianapolis, you talk about Knoxville on the dirt side. You talk about Lamar. It's one of those places that just does not need an introduction, and that's what we're going to be seeing here for today is racing on a classic configuration. Going back before the repave, back to 2007, that's the Daytona that we're going to be at here for today, kind of going back to a little bit closer to when the track opened in 1959. So with that, hey, let's go take a look at the point standings right now. It's been pretty wide open for a little bit, at least once you get back to second place, right, Stefan?
Yeah, well, Mick Cledge right now is 86 points ahead, and we have to mention that after this round there is only 100 points to score. So if Mick Cledge is able to outscore Michel Dudignon by 14 points, he will clinch the title here today for the F1 Drivers' Championship. Peter Mikas 1 point behind, and as you can see how close that is, that Adam was just talking about. Nicola Kochi and Ovid Trengrid are right now tied for that 4th place in the championship, but 20 points behind Peter Mikas. So very, very tight. It even goes back to like 8th place, continuing to be this tight in the F1 Drivers' Championship. And speaking about tight, Adam, that F2 Championship, it's tight.
Yeah. A lot tighter than what you got with the F1 right now. Only 5 points separate Lucal and Rossi, and they are both here for today. And you can't discount. I think Perigi still has a mathematical chance at maybe trying to do something, but he is also not here this afternoon, so he won't be racing at least at this point unless he joins the session late. Andrew Ng, Robert Plumley, they'll make up the rest of the top 5 there. On to the team standings.
Yeah, it's no surprise on the Nations Cup. It's still the United Kingdom being in first place with France in second. They're about 40 points apart. The United States in third, ever so close behind. And then we have Italy and Slovakia once again being extremely tight together. They're just 1 point apart right now. Although it says a little bit different on our Nations Cup standing. I think we're counting here some drop weeks that they haven't accounted in the form. Either way, it's extremely tight between Italy and Slovakia.
Hey, Slovakia is a country you don't really see represented too often on, country charts like this, so it's good to see them up there. Hey, for today, we are, of course, running round 10 of 12 here at Daytona. This is the one oval race that's on this calendar. They usually try to mix it up and put an oval on here, and that's what we got for today. 46 laps. It is an open setup. Once you hit the 17 incident limit, you're going to have a drive-through penalty. 25 is disqualification. But here at Daytona, if you have 17, you probably don't have a car left at that point. So I don't think we're going to be seeing anybody that's still in the race actually getting up to that drive-through penalty standard. And these guys, we have to mention, Stefan, they are setting some pretty decent speeds out there. I mean, we're up above 200, 205 miles an hour the entire lap. I know a lot of these guys don't race ovals all the time, so we got qualifying, I believe, going on right now. So we'll see the race kick off here in just a few minutes, and this is a little different format than what they're used to.
It is a little bit different, but one thing we have to mention is in this Lotus 49 community, there is a handful of oval specialists. They always come up and are normally able to find them at the end in the top 3, so it should be really interesting. One of those guys is Bruce Nelson. He's right now sitting in 3rd place, about 1/100th of a second behind Mikulec, who has the pole. Eric Lukel slots in behind 3/1000th of a second behind Kilej in 2nd place. Also, David Rossi, one of those oval experts, he is sitting about 1/10th behind Mikulec right now in 5th place, as Michel Dudino moves himself up into 3rd place.
Surprise McClaren. We knew he'd be fast. He's sitting on the temporary pole, or provisional pole here so far. Joey Haraya, see what he's able to do as he comes across the line. Don't think that one's going to count. He might have already actually set both his laps there. David Cohen, yeah, he improves by about 2/10. The Illinois driver there.
Yeah, a few more people do have completed their lap times. I think nobody's able to improve anymore. As always, a little bit of a shout out. You're watching this broadcast on the iRacing Esports Network. Make sure to like and especially subscribe if you haven't done so yet. If you haven't, because that button right below this broadcast will still be very bright red and very tempting to hit. Looking at Daytona victory lane right here on our screen. It's gonna be really interesting. I have already talked about this on the pre-roll to this race, and Adam, it will probably be one of the biggest spectacles that we will see this season.
Yeah, and we always talk about the big one whenever we come here with oval racing and particularly stock cars, and that's going to be something that's going to be very real possibility out there here for today because of the way these cars are bouncing around. We get into pack racing, it's going to be a little harder than usual to stay off each other. This isn't like the more modern version of Daytona that we have out there on the iRacing service. This is the older version, I believe, that was scanned in 07 or 08. So it's before the repave. It is bumpy. And I've been watching, I was watching Ove Trangerator earlier on today, and he was moving that steering wheel around. I mean, it is not steady out there, and you're going to have to be on your toes at all times, especially with these cars. We don't have a lot of rear downforce.
Yeah, hope that everybody has their mouth guards ready. Let's actually have a look at our grid for this race. We will have Mikulec on the inside line in 1st place, with Eric Lukel starting in 2nd, completing that 1st row, that number 50. Now we have Michel Dudino, the biggest competitor for Mikulec, those 86 points behind Mikulec in the championship, with Bruce Nelson in 4th, David Rossi starting in 5th, Sebastian Tixier 6th, Gary Thiel will be starting in 7th place. Have a look out for him. He's also one of those oval specialists. Bill Tyler in 8th, Joy Smith in 9th, and Rodney Evans running out to top 10 of the field.
Going to row 6, inside of row 6 will be Ante Karan. Jason Wallet, we see him a lot on Major's broadcast. He'll be out there as well for today. Marco Kika, 13th. Rob Olnick on the outside of row 7. He's quick. He may be starting back, but he's quick, so look for him to be able to move up. Peter Mikas in 15th, Andres Bruno in 16th, and the outside of row 8. Inside of row 9 is going to go Ivan Adio. Chris Bean will be in 18th. Row 10 is going to go Brennan Cleveland and Herbert Prince.
Ove Trangerator struggling as ever on an oval, only finding himself in 21st position. He's gonna have a lot to make up. By the way, don't be surprised if you see some cars crabbing. They are probably running quite similar setups to what they would run at the Indianapolis Oval. Bronislav Robinek 22nd, Dave Cohen 23rd, Trent Buss 24th, Joey Relia in 25th, Don Peak in 26th, Kevin van Lackner in 27th, Paul Ferrer is 28th with Andrew Eng in 29th, John Van Dorn, Robert Reynolds, and Zach Johnson bring up the rear of this 32 drivers field as they enter turn number 3. What is your prediction for the start here, Adam?
McLaren's just going to get out front. He's going to be able to avoid the big one. He knows what's going on. Behind him, though, it's going to be a crapshoot. This could be very well one of those days where somebody in the 20s comes up and tries to win. I'll tell you, so a surprise leader in practice was Donald Peak. He's going to be fast in the draft. It'll be somebody to watch out for.
Sure is going to be interesting all around as we come to the green flag for the very first time, and hopefully also for the last time. The green flag flies here today at the Daytona International Speedway. Mick off to a great start already. Eric Lukle slots in a nicely behind the second row, a little bit slow on the start. Bruce Nelson Lewis is already on the draft. He's not slotting into the bottom side. Now he does, entering turn number 1. Michel Dodino up to third place. Let's see if Eric Lukle able to get a good run out of turn number 2 on the super stretch to go for the very first time. And it seems like Eric Lukle strong on draft, but he is lifting ever so slightly.
Yeah, you have to be careful here, but you get a pretty good idea already of how much suspension travel there is here at Daytona 2007. As you would look at Mick Claridge almost wanting to break a little loose there on the exit of 4. Already somebody side wall here, upside down, tumbling, fumbling.
Also
no caught off the racing surface.
Yeah. Also somebody went to the pit lane. That is, by the way, Peter Mikus who wrecked there. Rob Olenek, one of the victims.
That as well.
Yeah, Rob Olenek, one of the victims. He had to go to the pit lane to avoid all of that. Rodney Evans right now on the outside ahead of him. That's Sebastian Tixier trying to go for the third place. Now already up to second place inside, and still Eric Lukle ahead of him. And Mick Claridge leading the bottom side. Look at how much they have to track out. Actually, Sebastian Tixier nearly hits the outside. We'll already have a little bit of separation there inside the top list. The top 10 are one tag, and then it's 11.
Yeah, right up here now with Lukle is already seeing the speeds keep up with Gary Teal, Robert Reynolds getting into the 42s. That outside line looking pretty good here so far, is with Sebastian and Rodney being able to make that work with really only 2 cars. It's only been here in the last little bit that Bill Tyler and Jason Wallet have kind of gotten up to him. But that outside line seems a little smoother as well. And I mean literally smooth. I'm going to keep harking on that suspension travel, as Mick Claridge does not look the most stable right there, hugging that yellow line.
Yeah, you have to set up your car either for the outside or the inside line. There is no both ways because of how much travel you have to put in. But always speaking about travel, we are down to slow speeds as the caution comes out for the very first time.
Yeah, it looks like Zach Johnson in the back of the field got a little hoppy and ended up spinning it, nosed it into the wall back there. So that's going to be bringing up the caution of the day.
Zach Johnson is going to be our first replay here of the day, as we're going to have a look at that crash. It's going to be outside of turn number 4. And it seems like one of the easy mistakes you can do. It just runs a little bit too high and into the wall he went.
Easy to do here is, looks like, I think this was a little far back. Actually, I think this is still live here, but Zach Johnson obviously not having the best of days out there at all. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and take a look back at the first incident here. Other than that, no, actually, yeah, let's see if we still have the first incident on tap with Rob Olenek, Peter Meek, Marco Pika. That was a rough one there, is taking out a couple of guys that I thought might be a little bit on the quicker side once the race got going.
And especially Peter Mikus, that's quite the loss. He is fighting for the 4th place in the championship. Coming out of Phillip Island, our very first race of the season. He was actually the leader of the championship. So let's see what is going to happen here. They're entering turn number 3 now. Outside of turn 4, or rather out of turn 4, it's going to happen. Starting on the outside of that lane. There we can see it now, just a little bit too high. And it all just comes pinballing towards him. And no chance of avoiding that. And number 4 goes tumbling. A few other cars also going for a little bit of a strike onto the inside wall.
Bravo on that, getting up into that wall, and I don't see if that was the 4 car. That was Peter Mikas. He went right underneath. But all those cars, including Marco Kiko's, the other white car there that you saw go tumbling toward the inside wall, those guys will not be seeing the Gatorade Victory Lane here for today, as they are the first retirees. So that incident took out 3 cars and put Joey Haraya a lap down.
And on your screen, you were able to see on the right side, Jason Wallet actually did go into pit lane. Interesting choice for him. Normally, you don't need to pit here whatsoever. Also, Trent Buss in pit lane with obviously also Zach Johnson. Sorry, there we go. He also goes into pit lane after that wall hit Trent Buss, and also Jason Wallet already off the pit lane again. So they're gonna rejoin our field out of turn number 2.
We got a little bit of a taste here. That was a very quick go, about 4 or 5 laps there before the yellow came out, of what kind of race that we're expecting here to see. Is that top pack, you probably had a front pack of about 10 cars that were able to separate out just a little bit from the back, middle pack, I should say. So it seems like we had 3 distinct packs of about anywhere between 7 and 11 vehicles. So that might be another thing that we're going to be watching out for, is that if you get a restart like what you're going to see here coming up in a minute, you might want to try to, if you're going to make a move, make it early, try to get up into that front pack and make those leapfrogs early, because this probably won't be our only caution of the day here.
And let's actually have a little bit of a look at our oval specialists that we have in this group. Rodney Evans, one of them sitting in 3rd place. Eric Lukal after a 2nd place start in 4th. By the way, Rodney Evans, he started in 10th. He's up to the 3rd place, so he gained himself 7 positions. Sebastian Tix here in 2nd place. You can see him on the right side right now. He started in 6th place up to 2nd. Seems like he's also one of those oval specialists, with Bill Tyler sitting in 5th. And then a little bit further back in 7th and 8th, that's Gary Teal and Bruce Nelson.
Yeah, those guys, particularly up the front. Mick Claridge, if I had to give, I mean, I know Mick Claridge is a guy that definitely knows what he's doing in this car, but he's got a lot of experience just about everywhere here on iRacing. But he's got to be careful, I think, this next time, is practice a restart for maybe the end of the race. You know, maybe if he has a 1 or 2 lap shootout, he doesn't want to leave as much of a gap going back to 2nd place. They had a pretty good run on him, and I think if it was later in the race, they might have taken some chances that they otherwise wouldn't have taken to try to take away that lead early on. But you may not have that luxury toward the tail end of this thing.
By the way, quick calculation. Michel Dudignon has to finish 4th or higher to still be in the championship hunt if Mick Claridge wins today. So 4th and higher, and he is still going to have a chance, but only he's going to be in by 2 points if he finishes in 4th place. Right now, Michel Dudignon sits in 5th place, actually 6th place, so he would right now lose the title to Mick Claridge.
We'll see if the lights go off on the pace car here this time by. We are expecting that they will, which means we'll get the green flag the next time the pace car swings around. There it goes. Lights on the Mustang pace car are off.
And like the old times in IndyCar, double foul restarts we will see here today, trying to emulate the IndyCar as best as possible, even though the Lotus 49, as already mentioned, did never race an IndyCar race. Only was the Lotus 38, which, by the way, a lot of components that Lotus 38 actually had got translated over to the Lotus 49.
I thought it was a completely new generation, but I guess it makes sense.
Never change a winning formula.
Right. Well, we'll see here. This is going to be a lot like the start of the race, I think, here too, and just mixing up a few positions about who's out there. But with Mick Claridge, obviously on the inside on the pole, well, I should say pole, but leading the race. But Sebastian Tixier on the outside of him is going to be a slightly different spot. He's got to make sure that he doesn't pass McClarridge before they get to the start-finish line. But if he can keep that momentum going on the outside, he's got a lot more help out there now. So it'll be interesting to see if that outside line has even more momentum. And will that change McClarridge's thought as the race goes along here and maybe try to move a little higher?
Yeah, we have seen Tixier having great speed on the outside. Was able to challenge McClarridge already for that first place. Let's see how this restart is going to go for the Asian man as the pace car drops for the second time here today. McClarridge waits, now goes on the throttle. Tixier completely sleeps on that restart.
And he got a fantastic jump. If this was anywhere else, that would have been a fantastic jump, and he knew it because he actually let off the gas a little bit to try to close that back up to second and third place.
Tixier and Evans a little bit boxed in between Tixier and McClarridge right now in that second place on the bottom row. Michel Dudino tries to make it 3 wide, thanks better off that. Slots in behind Tixier once again, so he's right now in that 4th place that will keep the championship hopes of the Frenchman alive. And the caution flag out for the second time.
Somebody flipping there in, it looks like turn 3.
Oh! Andres Bruno just hit the outside wall trying to slow down for the caution flag. And Joy Schmidt being the car that brought that one out, the number 5 car.
Take a look at the replay here on Joey Schmidt, see what happened. Got up in the outside wall and just started kind of bouncing off it. So he'll go down the back straightaway here. You'll see him drift up close to it. And this sometimes happens. I'll be honest. This happens to me like the Lotus 79 on Oval Racing Lionheart Retro. Sometimes that right rear wants to grab the wall and just throw you into it. And from there, slid down the banking. And once he got to the bottom of the banking, car just wants to start tumbling.
Yeah, unfortunate incident for him. A good thing, though, for everybody else, because that was just a single car incident. So Schmidt out of that race, but everybody else still in it. But we do have a in-race interview with McClarridge. Adam, talking to him.
Yeah, go ahead and talk to Mick here. Mick, that last restart right there, well, I guess I should say the first restart, it seemed like he had a great jump on second place, but then you realized maybe he had too much of a gap, so you got to cut off the gas a little bit, close that back up. Is that what happened?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you don't want to get too far ahead on the restart because you get round to the back straight, the guys are just going to slingshot straight past you. So, yeah, you just want to hold back a bit just so they can't get a good run on you there.
What are you thinking about it, how bumpy the track surface is, and noticing that you're having to move around a lot? And I'm noticing on the outside line it seems a little smoother. Have you had any thought about maybe trying to move up the track?
I've got it set up quite nicely on the bumps. I've got some real stiff springs on the front of this to stop it bottoming out. But yeah, it's not as good down low, especially in 1 and 2 now. There's a bump right in the middle of it, and you really see the cars sort of jump to the outside. But guys know what's going on, so everyone's pretty much expecting that. But yeah, it does feel nicer on the outside. Maybe later on I'll try that line if I get that far ahead in the race.
Well, so far you're looking pretty good, and so far looks like we might just have to caution our way to the middle part before things open up a little bit. But that's sometimes how it goes here at Daytona. Now, as far as Sebastian being there on the outside of you, he's had some good runs there on the outside. Are you going to do anything here to hold him off?
I think I'm okay against Seb in the corners, so I'm not too worried. I'm more worried about Bill. Bill Tyler's really quick. Rodney Evans is really quick. Not taking anything away from Seb, but yeah, I've been watching him practice, so yeah, not too worried about him in the corners. But yeah, watch out for Bill and Rodney. These guys are seriously quick in the corners. Michelle's there as well, so it's pretty scary, mate. It's pretty scary up here, you know.
Hey, I believe it. I've done enough oval races here to know that is definitely scary. I can't imagine what it's like here in a Lotus 49. But anyway, hey, keep showing them how it's done, and maybe we'll pull you in here a little bit later to talk to you again.
Yeah, thanks, man. Cheers.
That was Mick Claridge, serving as our in-race reporter here for today, currently leading at Daytona. But there's Stefan. He's got a pretty good run on it. Feels like it sounds like he's got a pretty good feel of the car and who's around him as well.
Yeah, it does seem he does seem a little bit concerned about running that low line, but obviously he has to run it because otherwise he's gonna get past himself. It's a little bit of a trade-off there, but I'm pretty sure that Mick can most definitely manage that. Sebastian Tixier, he mentioned him. It's an interesting story. He's very fast down the straights, but he lacks a little bit of that corner speed. I think that's the reason why he's going on the top side, so he can avoid those very rough inside bumps.
And that's I think that's going to be the key here for today, especially once things get a little hotter and heavier toward the end of this thing. Is watching those bumps. These tires they do wear. They don't wear a ton, but they do wear. And I'm really kind of interested to see what happens toward the end of this thing if we get some long green flag runs and what happens as far as the tire wear and how they handle those bumps.
Yeah, the problem rather is the heat of the tires rather than the wear of them. So you really have to be careful to not spin your tires too much on the restarts, otherwise you're gonna really have some troubles through the first 2 laps in the corners as well. We're expecting the lights to come off the pace car this lap. There they go off, so we're gonna go back to green flag racing in just 1 lap time.
All right, the same thing. It's like Mick Claridge, we already talked about it. He had it in the back of his mind, not letting that gap too far, except he kind of did a little bit. I don't expect that to happen again here for this time around. For you folks that normally watch the Lotus 49 on road courses, one thing about ovals, when you're oval racing, if you're not too familiar with it, as soon as that pace car pulls off, in iRacing, you're able to gas it and you're able to go. And sometimes here, that's not the best strategy when you've got this drafting style of race. If we were at, say, Darlington, or I know we would never put a Lotus 49 on Bristol, but if you were at Bristol or somewhere like that, that's what you probably want to do to try to get a jump on people. But here, you almost want to wait to that last second before you hammer down on the throttle.
Adam, never say never. The Lotus 49 is oval crazy, and I've just seen a poll that they put up this week where they asked how many ovals would be the best they wanted to have, and the vote was actually rather close between none and 4. And obviously, 4 ovals is season 1.
I know the Lotus 79 is fantastic on ovals. We ran this one at Milwaukee for the majors last year, and it was fun. I mean, I really enjoyed this at Milwaukee, and maybe that should be one that they consider to put on there. If you guys are listening, Milwaukee, great combo. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go again. Pace car drops for the 3rd time. Mick Claridge goes for the 3rd time. This time he is actually following his own advice. Doesn't accelerate as hard. Keeps the 2nd and 3rd rather close. Rodney Evans in that 3rd place car right now. Tixier a little bit slow off into turn 1. And Michel Tirino right hot on his heels.
The guys right in the banking. Who is that? That's Eric Lukol having a heck of a time trying to keep that thing going straight. He's going to break up the pack. Yeah, he's got some ground to make up now.
Top 6 have separated themselves because that actually top 5 rather. Well, Tyler, that last car in the top pack. 2 wide right now for the lead between Tixier and Claridge. Claridge really loose on the inside, nearly getting run over by Rodney Evans there, as also Michel Tirino now makes it 2-2 for the very first time. They complete lap number 15 that way.
And for those talking, probably that are more familiar with oval racing watching here today, they were like, oh, stay above the yellow line, stay above the yellow line. It's smoother, it's everything. But those bumps want to throw you below the yellow line. It's very hard sometimes with the suspension that's as soft as this to really keep it off those bumps on the inside and keep it from throwing you down there. And that's what happened to Eric Lukl just a minute ago, who has now since recovered. But Scott McClaren's off. Scott off just about everybody on the inside. It's somebody's
who is that? Strangray! That is Strangray going for a wall ride. Goes upside down. Yellow flag is out. Oh my goodness.
When we look at the replay on that one, we're going to have to look at it from Jason Wallet's view here in just a minute, because I know we're going to have a replay from that.
Yeah, Rob Olenek and Wallet both were able to just about somehow miss that car. But how did Wallet manage to miss it? He went fully under it.
But that's going to be a contender, at least in my mind, here for today. I know you say he sometimes struggles on ovals, but Ove Trengerud, I really liked him in practice, and that's going to be a rough end to his afternoon. Here comes the GSRC replay machine getting that loaded up here. And I believe this is from Wallet, so you can see Trengerud bouncing across the wall. Oh, no, that's even a Dio. And then behind him is where Ove starts to get launched. Go ahead. Watching for Jason Wallet now. As he comes out of turn 4, you can see Ove bouncing along the wall up there. Eventually he's going to come off the wall and whoop! Right over top. It's like that wheel rotates at the right time.
That did seem a little bit like he actually got that tire to the face, but netcode was the lucky charm of Jason Wallet there. As we're now going to have a look at what exactly happened to Ove Trengerud. He's going to exit turn number 4. Seems like just a little bit too high. Had to counter steer off the banking. And that is why the number 10 climbed the wall and into the infield. Gonna have
Right
one
on.
more look at that. Number 15, we're on board right now. There we go. That's Ove Trengerud. Just a little bit there. You can see ever so slightly has to get out of that left-hand turn. And that was all it needed to get into that outside wall.
And that's a tough place to be, because you're wanting to try to keep the car up against the wall to try to keep it from coming back down into the traffic and ruining everybody else's day. But at the same time, you also need to, try to save the car from flipping over, and it's a tough one.
Alright, this is caution number 3, and we're gonna step aside for just a few moments, but don't worry, GSRC will be back once the green flag flies again here at Daytona International Speedway. as Zach Johnson still continues to ever so slightly repair his car during the caution laps. We welcome you back to Daytona International Speedway to round 10 of the Grand Prix Legends Series, live here on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. The pace car lights are out. We're gonna go back to green flag racing once again. And it's still Mick Ledge in your lead ahead of Sebastian Tixier. Michel Tourignon and Rodney Evans will complete row number 2 for this restart. Lap number 20 will be completed after this one. So we still have about 26 laps of racing remaining here today.
Watch out for Chris Bean. He's our biggest mover so far. Started 18th, already up to 8th. He's got some speed.
Most definitely, pace car is in for the 4th time. Mick Ledge goes once again just ever so slightly on the accelerator to get the cars rolling again. Michel Tourignon this time around, a very good start for him. Actually did very nicely anticipate the start of Ledge. Sebastian Tixier once again did struggle with the restart. He's holding the inside line very closely. Michel Tourignon goes a little bit on the yellow line, but he's keeping his car very much under control.
Spread out a little bit down the back straightaway. A couple guys thinking about 3 wide, maybe just more searching for a little bit of clean air, maybe trying to break up the draft with guys behind him. As it looked like Seven just nosed out in the lead ever so briefly. But like McLaren was noting, kind of slowed down just a little bit on the corner. Of course, as you expect, being on the outside of the corner, be just a touch slower. Coming here to the line, though, McLaren will get another lap led.
Has led every single lap of this race thus far. Rodney Evans very close in behind Sebastian Tixier, but just no room to get any outside lane right now. Maybe tries a 3 wide on the super stretch. No, he's also not getting that. Not a very good exit out of turn number 2. Here comes number 8 on the 3rd row, that is. Bruce Nelson, or rather 3rd line. As Mick Ledge on the inside, just too little. Too tight rather into turn number 3, gets a little bit sideways under the yellow line, keeps it all together, but this gives some great momentum now to Sebastian Tixier. First time maybe he's gonna lead the race. No, he's just
wow, that had to have been really close for him. Not six looks like millionths of a second, or not millionths of a second.
1,000.
That was really close. Wow.
Yeah, we're here not at the supercar stage to count in millions, but here comes Michel Tourignon to make it 3 wide for the lead. Is he gonna take it? Mick Ledge might have to back out of this. No, he's gonna stay in it, nearly touching there between the Frenchman and the UK driver. They really are hands off right now, gloves off rather, for this championship lead. Michel Tourignon takes the outside line now. He did overtake Sebastian Tixier. He's not gonna make it 3 wide yet again. Michel Tourignon, 5/1000th of a second there. Outside lane is getting closer and closer to that lead.
I'm telling you, the outside lane has that momentum, and you can't ever expect the outside lane to work after 1 or 2 laps. It is a progression, and Michel Tourignon saw that, and he jumped up there as we're going to go 3 wide down the back straightaway.
Great speed for both Tixier and Michel Tourignon. Let's see how that's going to play out once the exit turn number 4. Tixier a little bit too high. He's going to lose all of that momentum he just had a few seconds ago. Michel Tourignon still is in 2nd place. Here comes once again that train for that lead. Let's see if he's able to do it this time around. No, once again, just too far behind. This time it was 100th of a second separating Ledge from Tourignon.
You see that outside line there had the advantage for a little bit with Mick Ledge not having a lot of help on the inside, but Mick Ledge with that power able to get down there, ready to go 3 wide down the back straightaway again. That is the 9 car of Bill Tyler that is now taking up position behind Mick Ledge.
This is starting to be a little bit of formation flying between all of these guys. Mick Ledge and Tourignon once again edged out over Sebastian Tixier, who did lose a lot of ground this time around through turn 3 and 4 without a major problem. Michel Tourignon, he is nearly getting into that first spot this time around, but once again, 7/1000th of a second separating him from Mick Ledge. So still in 2nd place, he is ranked. Sebastian Tixier, a little bit too eager for my likings right now. It always gets really close to that rear tire of Michel Tourignon.
Your top 20 cars within 3 seconds of each other. Just kind of a nice long spread out pack with the 3-wide action, surprisingly, at the front. As we continue to watch McLaren to the inside, Michel Dugnan in the middle, Sebastian Tixier on the outside. With once again, McLaren's able to edge out.
Oh, Michel Dugnan to
the wall. Sebastian's going to the inside. He's shooting to the inside wall. Hard contact. He's up and over. Up and over
and
the trial wall as well.
Follow-up wreck brings out the caution flag, and this might just have been a championship decider for Michel Dugnan into the outside wall. He has to put his car back on the tow hook. He's back into the pit lane, but I'm pretty sure he won't be able to get back inside the top 4.
Yeah, and that was a tough contact there for a number of guys. Obviously, Michel Dugnan, but also David Rossi was the red car that you saw just flipping wildly going down the tri-oval, and we were a little bit of a contender here for today, and so he's getting flipped out of 5th position.
We will see the replay of this wreck right now down the super stretch, backstretch of Daytona International Speedway through turn 3 and 4. Still 3 wide there for that lead. And then just ever so slightly goes up the track and just can't recover from that. And then you can see all of that mayhem happening in behind.
And of course that was Ashton Tixier that we saw shooting off to the inside, and he had hard contact in the inside wall as well. And I think we have really had probably 4 or 5 guys whose days came to an end here today.
Yeah, David Rossi, that red car that in the end did barrel roll. Yeah, we're able to see Sebastian Tixier, and here is number 15, that's Sebastian Tixier rolling to his doom.
So
just a very unfortunate incidents there.
Yeah, multiple contenders. I mean, taken out there between Sebastian, Michel, David Rossi, all caught up in that. Bruce Nelson was the other car that was caught up in that. Was really expecting him maybe to try to get an outside chance at the top 10 here for today. But all those hopes are dashed under caution again at Daytona.
Yeah, this is the 4th caution of today. Lap number 28 is being completed right now. So we are already well over halfway into this race.
That's kind of how Daytona goes sometimes. I would classify that as our first real big one of the day. That makes me wonder too if you're going to have a couple of guys that will maybe take it a little bit easier once we go back to green here. Sometimes if you have a big one in the middle of the race, that's what happens, is you see kind of a calming effect for a little while until you get to about 10 to go. Where thing is though, the 46 lap race, we're sitting here rounding lap 29 right now. That 10 to go is going to come pretty quick. But I'm hoping when they go back to green here in just a little bit that it does have that calming effect for at least a little while, and we'll see if anybody strings out or not.
And talking a little bit about moving, Paul Ferreira, 28th to 7th, 21 places he has gained thus far. He is the mover of the race. He did put in a qualifying lap, so he most definitely qualifies for that. You can see it on your screen right now. But he is not the only one to have such a big number of plus. There also Bronislav Robenek, 22nd to 11th. Trent Buss, 24th to 12th place. Dave Cohen, 23rd to 13th. And then Robert Reynolds, he didn't put a qualifying lap in, but he started in 31st to find himself right now inside the top 15 in 14th place.
Yeah, a lot of those guys able to just stay out of trouble and gain those spots like that at this point. But one guy that's made a lot of moves actually on the racetrack in green flag conditions has been Chris Bean. That's the guy I want to give a shout out to here, as he's been able to come up from 18th position now, finds himself in 5th. And I told you a little while ago he's got some speed. Actually 4th now as Rodney Evans has decided to come down pit road with some damage. But so he's up now from 4th from 18th, and a lot of those moves have been on the racetrack. I said a little while ago, he's got some speed. Watch out for him the rest of the way.
Yeah, and it is confirmed Mick Kletch is going to be your season's champion. Michel Tirino has officially retired his car, so he is not going to be able to finish inside the top 4, which drops him outside of the 100 points window that still can be given out. So give it up for the number 2 driver, that is Mick Ledge, winning his first championship in quite some time.
Yeah, wonder if we can bring him down here to talk. I think the lights are still on the pace car. And yeah, we'll grab Mick Claridge again. Mick, hey, with Michel Dunion falling out here just a little while ago, unfortunately, but fortunately for you, we believe that locks you into the championship this year or this season. Congratulations.
Oh wow, that's the last thing I was thinking about. Just going 3 wide with the guys there, all the adrenaline rushing. Yeah, man. Oh, that's great stuff. Yeah. I still want to win this one.
Yeah, winning a championship, I mean, you still want to win the race, but at least you don't have that part to worry about. You don't have to points race or anything else. You can just kind of go for it now at this point.
Yeah, I would have gone for it anyway, no matter what the championship was doing. We don't get to race this car much, so when you do, you have to do what you can and give it all, But yeah, now I've got I think Rodney's gone in for tyres, but anyway, Bill's behind, so now it's going to get a bit interesting. I don't know whether to run low or in the middle of the track. Bill's quick no matter where he puts the car, so it's going to be pretty tough now.
At the beginning there, though, one thing we did see is first time today, actually anywhere on the racetrack, really, it ended up being for the lead with some 3-wide action. How was it on the bottom of that being 3-wide right there?
Yeah, it's pretty scary, because I'm running VR as well, so I can't really see the guys next to me. Obviously, I can hear them, and I know they're there, but yeah, I have to have a quick look down the back straight just to see what's going on, and then I see Rodney on the outside or Seb on the outside. And yeah, then man, you got to crank over that wheel to keep it tight on the outside, on the exit of turn 4 there. I actually thought I might have caused a bit of that wreck because I did sort of drift up a little bit there, so I was worrying about that. But yeah,
you guys are forming back up here for the restart. Lights are off of the pace car. We'll let you get back to refocusing, and good luck here the rest of the way.
and on toast, man.
Was your leader Mick Claridge, Stefan?
Yeah, not only leader, but also championship winner for this season. So most definitely pressure is off, but Mick Claridge is a racer through and through, and he's most definitely going to want to win the last 3 races of this season. Round number 10 of 12. We're here witnessing the Daytona International Speedway, 46 laps worth of racing. We're going into lap number 32 after the pace car drops, which it just has. Mick Ledge back on the throttle. And once again, a little bit of a slow start from the outside lane. Bill Tyler is going to maybe lose second place here with Antti Kerinen in second right now.
Yeah, underway again. Mick Claridge having leaving a little bit more gap than what he has in the past, but so far that's worked out for him as Bill Tyler's been stuck on the outside. Antti Kerinen not able to kind of close that gap. And here comes Chris Bean, also Eric Lukel back there, and Paul Ferrer showing a little bit of speed. He just brought him up, coming up to 28th positions where he started today.
Yeah, Paul Ferrer, most definitely one of the biggest movers in this race. We have talked about him in the caution that was just ended 1 lap ago. Eric Lukel still in 5th place, and Mick Ledge still leading right now. We have 2 rows, about 3 deep, nearly 4 deep, as Gary Thiel did decide better off that. Now he gets overtaken in the background by Trent Buss. So he is coming back after being involved in the first crash of the race.
Gliding along with Bill Tyler, going along at 208. How fast will he get here before he gets to turn 3? 210 miles an hour the speedometer topped out at, as these cars here are flying at Daytona. Remember, these guys don't have any kind of wings or anything like that. So seeing a car up in the wall in the back of the pack, is this going to be another yellow? It is. We are under yellow again here at Daytona, trying to see who that was.
Dave Cohen.
Dave
Number
Cohen.
25 was that Dave Cohen out of Illinois. He is going to go back to Illinois right away. virtual Florida. Just a little bit of an awkward incident there. I'm not sure if something happened to Dave Cohen because he just speared over to the right side.
Yeah, so unfortunate for him. That was a hard contact. Once it gets up into the wall, though, once again, you see how it bounced. As soon as it turned, it was over. That was Kevin Van Lacker, I think, was the one that he went underneath.
I think you are correct, but yes, it was Kevin Van Lacker. Go on to the free play there. That was once again quite an interesting moment. Going to get out of turn 4. We were able to see the car ahead. There we go into the wall. Dave Cohen goes, and now buckle up and down.
And there, you know, just like Jason Wald earlier, who, by the way, has now found himself in the 13th position, is there's not much you can do about that in these cars. I mean, you can't jerk the wheel with the lack of downforce. You're just going to send yourself spinning and hitting a wall hard somewhere. It's like you just have no choice but to point the nose, go for them, and hope they're not there by the time you get there. Kind of Days of Thunder-esque. I mean, and I know some of the European guys may not have seen the Tom Cruise movie Days of Thunder, but that's kind of that. And you go watch it if you like stock car movies or just like a goofy movie kind of thing. Also, where Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman met. Yeah, minor facts.
Minor facts nobody cares about. Exactly. Mick Clash still leading ahead of Bill Tyler, Chris Bean, Ante Kerinen, and Eric Lukol, your top 5 of the race. Kind of surprised about where Ante Kerinen came from. Whole race, nowhere to be seen. All of a sudden, inside top 4, starting the last caution already inside those top 4. So, yeah, Kerinen, a little bit of a wild card inside the top 5.
Well, we got a minute. I'm going to call these guys the warriors of the day because they're trying to stay out there, trying to finish this thing. And that right now includes Andrew Ng, who's running 4 laps down, but he's still out there. John Van Dorn picked up some damage earlier. Donald Peake picked up some damage earlier. They're hanging on to the tail end of the lead lap, along with Rodney Evans. I know Mick mentioned him. He thought he went in for tires. No, it's because he picked up some pretty good damage on his nose during the big one a little while ago. But also, we talked about Rob Olnek. Rob Olnek came back out there running 4 laps down, but he's out there. He's trying to finish this thing for everything that it's worth. But we are down to 18 cars on the lead lap. And right now, I'd say, about 14 or 15 of them could actually run competitive speeds.
Yeah, also one of the cars that is damaged is Donald Peake. He's running rather slow. He was one of the faster cars in practice, but after I think it was that second caution, he's running damage. He's about 1 to 2 seconds off pace per lap, so he's not gonna have any more saying in this. Still very much peak performance of the day right now.
Lights are still on the pace car, which means probably still have at least a lap and 3/4 to go here of caution speeds. And at least they run 80 miles an hour here under caution, unlike I think the 50 or 60 that I think's at Pocono. So a little bit better than some other 2.5 mile tracks, but still feels pretty slow when you should be going about 205, 210 miles an hour right now. Continue to navigate the course, but Mick Claridge, of course, has had a fantastic day. He's led all but just a handful of laps, but he's got some competitors now behind him that he's not super used to having back there with the likes of Chris Bean, Ante Kerinen back there, Eric Lukol. Of course, Eric Lukol has had some success, but he's going to be a contender, I think, here before everything's said and done.
By the way, at the end of this lap number 36 of 46, the pace car will officially have the most laps of the race. With 19, that is, versus 18 of Mick Claridge. So most definitely right now, Mick Claridge A little bit on the slower side with that pace car ahead of him, but pretty sure we will have lights out at the end of this one. Let's see if I'm correct or I got my laps wrong. Nope, there we go. Pace car lines are out. We're gonna go back to racing at the end of lap number 36. So we have a 10-lap shootout. Hopefully it is going to stay green for the remainder of the race. The longest green flag run we had was 7 laps until we had that big incident between Michel Dudino and some other cars.
So one thing to find out here, once we hit the green flag, we'll have 9 to go, is if new tires will actually mean anything. I'm not expecting too much in the way that they will, or the guys that have newer tires are too far back. But Trent Busey, he came in at the first caution and he picked up tires, so he has 6-lap newer tires than the rest of the field. But also Jason Wallet back there, he's come in almost every single caution except this last one, so he only has 8 laps on his tires. But he's also sitting back in 13th position. So we'll see if he's able to make any kind of moves up, if those new tires matter at all. But really, I think Mick Claridge is going to be the one that's going to decide what happens here, at least over the next few laps. And once we hit 3 to go, maybe even 4 to go, it's going to be every man for himself.
Yeah, the cars with the new tires. So 28, 4th on the outside. A red car, that's Trent Bus. As you said, 31 laps on his tires. And then Jason Wallet, he's 13th. That's 7th down on the inside line. The number 13 he actually also is. So he has 8 laps on his tires. Let's see if anything of that is going to prove anything for them. Pace car once again into pit lane. Mick Claridge on the loud pedal yet again to start lap number 38.
I'm Bill Tyler here. I'm trying to come down to the low line, trying to sneak a little bit of draft, but that gap is going to close before he has a chance to do that with trying to see. That's Chris Bean, who I've been talking about here for today. He actually makes the move up to the high side. He takes that momentum. He's going to go ahead and try to make a move for the lead here on the outside as they go into turn 3.
This is going to be very interesting. We have seen with Sebastian Tixia that you're able to really get some nice momentum, but you have to be able to keep that momentum up through the turns. Chris Bean right now seems like he's able to do that quite nicely. Let's see if he's going to be able to build up that momentum over the next few laps. This time it's not going to be enough for him. About 43 1,000ths of a second separating Bean from Mick Claridge. But yet again, he is able to get his nose ahead into turn number 1. Let's see how it's going to pay off for him going out of turn number 2.
You got to remember the outside line. It is a test in patience. You need to be smooth up there. It's going to feel like you're losing time sometimes, but all it is building that momentum like you were talking about. So you've got to, if you're going to dedicate yourself to that, you have to try to ride the wave and see where it ends up. Now, if you're Mick Claridge, maybe you're trying to play that middle line a little bit more. I believe that was Bill Tyler as he's getting launched.
Yes, that was Bill Tyler, the number 9 car, upside down, flipping still. Now he's right in the middle of the track. Everyone is able to actually avoid him. But yet again, caution is out for the 5th time in this race.
Another time where that right rear wheel just grabs that wall and just does not let go. And then he's just going to get launched, sent up into the Space Force right there. That's a rumbling, tumbling down the front stretch.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit wondering if Bill Tyler lost track of where he actually is on track, and because of that did open up the steering wheel a little bit too much and too early. And that's why he did collect that outside wall.
Yeah, tough contact there. And oh, man, but now it really is a shootout. I mean, you're going to come back here with 4 to go, 5 to go. And you're immediately in a no man's territory here. One thing's for certain, Stefan, is that I don't think that these guys have any kind of green, white, checkered, or anything else built into the session. I think that if we go back to green, the next caution will end it. And with the way things have gone here for today, and as chaotic as I think the next few laps will be, is if you got to be out in front because you got to plan on that race possibly ending at any time. So expect some risky moves from guys that really want to try to capture this thing away from McClarridge.
Yeah, as you said, there will be no green or white checkered. The next caution will probably end the race, depending on when it actually does fly. But yeah, it is going to be interesting. Now we have the next car that is on less older tires. It's still Trent Buss. He's sitting in 5th place with his number 28. So it's gonna be interesting. Also, Rodney Evans, he wasn't really able to get much in terms of positions. He is sitting in 10th place, and Jason Wallet, he was one of the cars that I think got collected in all of that. I think he was actually the car that did launch Bill Tyler in the very end. So he's in pit lane right now, trying to repair his car, and he's also out of the car. No, actually, Jason Wallet, he himself also did collect the outside wall at the same angle and pretty much the same place as Bill Tyler did. So the younger tires for these two guys really didn't prove beneficial.
No, not yet anyway. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm not expecting Trent Busey and the 6-lap difference in those tires, with as hard as this compound is, to really make that much of a difference. The one I was really watching for was going to be Jason Wallet, but as you mentioned, the contact with the wall is probably going to end that. So we could end all that discussion. I think we're going to be okay there. If Trent Busey is somehow able to get up here and contend for the win, I do not think it's going to be because of 6-lap newer tires, at least at this point. But yeah, so now we're going to see what happens here. Hoping for a quicker yellow. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see the lights stay on the pace car here. Actually, I'm behind. I'm behind a little bit. Go figure there, Stefan. That's the first time today.
Yeah, we are still under caution. Lights are still on, so we're going to go back to green flag racing with 3 laps to go in this race. As we're now on 5 laps to go, caution lights are still on, which means lap 4 is going to be the restart lap. McClarridge has done all of the restarts to perfection right now, and I don't think anyone is gonna be able to challenge him on the restarts, but we have seen people are getting speed on the outside line. Just a matter of getting that timing down to perfection and get that place away from McClarridge at the start-finish line.
It's going to be a tough one to do. I mean, he's been able to hold on to the lead for all, I think, but 1, maybe 2 green flag laps, and he's tough on the inside line, and we're getting the caution so frequently that outside line has not had a chance to really build up momentum yet, and I don't think they're going to have a chance to really do it before the end of the race, because once we get the green here, we're coming down to 4 to go, so we should get the green with 3 to go. Somebody's going to have to try to stick their nose in and get underneath McClarridge in the very few parts of the track where we see him drift up just a little bit, and that's a tough thing to do. You're going to have to time it right. You're going to have to momentum at the right place. But the bottom line is, with us coming to green with 3 to go, yes, the next caution will end this race. So you got to be out in front when that caution comes out, if it comes out. But I'm expecting some dangerous moves. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to mince words. I'm expecting some dangerous moves here because there's a lot of guys that want to win this race.
Yeah, and actually, let's have a short look at the numbers of the drivers. McClarridge, the number 2 car, then in 2nd place, starting from 18th, it's the number 30 of Chris Bean. Then starting from 11th, it's the 20 of Antti Kärinen, the 19 of Paul Ferrer, starting from 28th place, starting from 24th, right now 5th place, that's Trent Buss in his 28th machine. So it's not low iRating, guys. Don't get me wrong. They still have a lot of iRating because of how the series works. But they are still quite some low numbers, finding themselves quite high up the ranks.
Yeah, and of course, as I always like to say, iRating means nothing. I don't care if you have a 5,000 or 6,000 iRating, because leagues are so prevalent in iRacing. You could race a lot of leagues, be very, very good at what you do, and have a low iRating because you don't run official. And I'm okay with that. I'm one of those guys. But this time around, though, it's going to be tough. And you see some guys like Paul Ferrer and Trent Busey that really feel like they have a lot to prove right here.
Pace car in yet again, 6th time for today, hopefully also the last time we see it on the track. Mikkelaj once again a good start from him. Antti did anticipate the start quite perfectly. He's right on the heels of Mikkelaj, goes to the outside lane actually, as Chris Bean didn't have the start he wanted to keep up with Mikkelaj. Drops to the inside line. Paul Ferrer still on the outside in 4th place. Trent Buss 5th, and Eric Luco making a 3 deep, a 2x2.
All right, here we go. Chris Bean's that's actually Antti Karinen's gonna edge him out just a little bit going into 3, but that shorter radius on the inside, that's going to be what allows McLaren to reclaim the lead a little bit here. But as we've been talking about, it's going to be about that momentum. As we're seeing a couple cars drift up to the wall, they stay out of it. Good there. But that 30 car, Chris Bean, coming back at him. He's got a head full of steam. He's probably going to be able to edge out as we go into turn 1. And these are going to be the dangerous moments for McLaren. If a caution comes out right here, it would be Chris Bean winning it. But as Chris Bean falls back through the middle part of the corner, he's going to have to try to sniff that draft again, or at least get a little bit of help, but that help is not too far behind. Antti Karinen coming up here, he's going to try to make it 3 wide.
3 wide it is, and nearly 2 deep as well. It is actually 2 deep, 3 wide for just a moment there, as Antti Karinen drops out of it, nearly gets cracked by Paul Ferrer, who didn't anticipate the lift there. Mikkelaj still your leader on the inside. Chris Bean is in 2nd place.
Yellow, they cannot. I don't know who that is that's gotten launched there, but that's bad because it was under yellow.
That was actually Paul Ferrer.
Oh, bad end of the run for Paul Ferrer. So we got 2 instances with that.
That was rather unlucky for Paul Ferrer. Antti Karinen is gonna set that chain loose there a little bit, with him slowing down quite a bit more than anticipated by Trent Buss, who kept his foot in, which nudged. Actually, they did collect a little bit. Antti Karinen got sent up into Paul Ferrer because of that, and that's why we saw the flight show from the Iberian driver.
Looking at Robert Reynolds here, and Bob gets up in the wall, and once again, right rear grabs, gets sucked up in, gets sideways, goes for a ride, and then just starts tumbling. And he's crabbing. But man, just not the end of the race that we wanted to see. But at the same time, the guy that led most of the way is going to come away with the win here at Daytona.
Yeah, they are actually going to end this race right here. Mikkelaj is going to be your winner here today with Chris Bean in 2nd place. Antti Karinen will be running out your top 3 of today, starting from 18th and 11th. Bean and Karinen, quite a feast from them in the very end. With all of that said and done, we're gonna just step aside for a few moments to take a breather, but we will be quickly back for the GSRC post-race show, where we will run you down the unofficial finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close off a very eventful race. So don't step away too far, as GSRC will be back after these messages. Welcome you all back to the Grand Prix Legends post-race show streaming to your home on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. As always, first on the channel list is the unofficial finishing order, and Mick Clash, number 2 driver, not only wins the race here today starting from first, leading every single lap along the way, he is also the official champion of this season. Most definitely quite the high point for him here today. Chris Bean, number 30, goes from 18th to finish in second. Antti Kerronen, the 20 car, from 11th to 3rd. Trent Buss from 24th gains himself 4 positions to find himself in 4th. Rodney Evans, 5 up for him in 5th. He finishes Eric Local. A little bit of a disappointing race for him. After starting in 2nd, only finishes in 6th, and then we have another big mover of the race. Starting in 19th, finishing 7th, that was the number 17 of Brennan Cleveland, with Gary Teal in 8th, Ivan Dario in 9th place, and finishing out the top 10 of your field was Bronislav Robinek.
Yeah, going back to 11th, Andres Bruno back there. Kevin Van Lanker, he took a tire to the helmet almost just a little while ago, but he's able to sneak in there in 12th position. 13th position is John Van Dorn. 14th, you go to Donald Peak, having a little bit of damage, but he's able to come home. But the heartbreaker, at least in my mind, had a great, fantastic run going, and then only to have trouble after the final caution had fallen, Paul Ferrer. So he's going to fall back to 15th when he could have had a podium or 4th or 5th. 16th is going to go to Robert Reynolds, who brought out that last caution. 17th, Rob Olenek, ends up finishing this race 4 laps down, but he finished. Same with Andrew Eng, Jason Wallet, Bill Tyler round out your top 20.
Eng actually was the last finisher of today. The rest of your field is gonna run through your screen right now as Adam Young is gonna talk to Ivan Dario.
Yeah, even man, that was a tough one out there, but you were able to come home, finish this thing off, and even come home with the top 10. Evan, can you hear us? All right, I do not think we have him. Even one more time here, are you able to hear us? Try once again. One more radio check. All right, so apparently we got technical difficulties there, but that's okay. I think we'll go ahead and we'll get up to Mick Claridge, who's going to talk to Stefan.
Yeah, Mick, first of all, congrats to leading every single lap, posting the fastest lap, and also winning the race here. Talk us through the last few moments of the race. How glad are you that Robert Reynolds actually saved you from losing this race?
Yeah, cheers, Steph. Yeah, listen, I've got to say thanks to Bill Tyler, man. He put a set up on the forum. Most of the guys are running it today. And he's one of the top guys on the oval side. So, for him to just stick a setup on the forum like that in Ovals week, is really good sportsmanship for him, So fair play to him. But yeah, that was tough. 3 wide with the guys, in the middle part of the race. That was a bit scary. But yeah, made a couple of little changes to the set, and I just thought I'm going to keep low now. I've got 2 guys behind me, Chris and Auntie. I don't know them. So I didn't know what to do, really. I didn't know how they were going to drive, didn't know how fast they were going to be or whatever. So I just thought I'll stick low and just see how it goes, And I don't know, they just seemed to have a drop off in the last lap there. And I was worried about them catching up and, slingshotting past me there on the last lap. But so I eased off a bit, and that's really tough to do because I don't know, you don't know whether to do it or not, because it's just against your instinct to lift off. Do you know what I mean? So it was really tough that last lap.
Well, in the very end, you did win it though, and Mick, with that, you also did clinch the championship title for this season, with Michel Didino only finishing in 24th, 20 positions away from where he would have needed to keep his championship hopes alive. Obviously, the pressure of having to win now falls off, but as I know you're probably still gonna practice about 400 laps each week and still gonna thrive for that win.
Yeah, Interlagos is next. I really like that track. I normally do pretty well there. So yeah, I'll only just run about 400 laps there. But then the following week 12, Nürburgring is just. I really got to sort my game out for that track. I hardly ever finish a race there, let alone win. And Uwe Trangerade is just he just owns that place. Michel's quick, and Uwe's just going to be so fast. I mean, remember him last season when he crashed into the wall in the last turn and still won the race. If I can be on pace with those two guys in week 12, I'll be really happy. Just to be able to fight for the win there would be really good. That would be a real result for me.
Well, Mick, then we're not going to hold you up any longer from not only practicing, but also celebrating your championship win. You can actually drink some champagne because we're not in Indianapolis. So, Mick, once again, congrats on winning and congrats on clinching that title.
Cheers, man. I'm going to go downstairs and get some milk out of the fridge.
That was Mick Ledge, your winner of today and also the winner of the championship this season. And sadly, Adam, that is all we have for today. But what are your final thoughts on today's race?
I think that we would have been in for a whale of a show if we'd been able to go to green there the rest of the way. There was a couple of real fast guys. I mean, maybe Mick could have held them off, maybe not. But, it happens in oval racing sometimes where you feel like you're kind of robbed of a great finish. But at the same time, the racing that we saw when we had green flag racing was fun to watch. It was great. I heard there was one last night that only had 2 cautions. Man, I would have loved to have been sitting in there on that one. But overall, though, pretty good. And I think that these guys, maybe on a shorter oval, might have a little bit more fun.
Most definitely. With all of that said, and Don Cheese RC would like to thank the iRacing Esports Network for having us on their talent lineup to bring you the greatest shows on iRacing into your home. Make sure to like and especially subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet. On top of that, we'd like to thank everyone on the track today for a great show, and especially the Lotus 49 community for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen you can see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to June Lalonde to provide us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at Global SimRacing Channel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSR Facebook at facebook.com/Global SimRacing Channel, or on Instagram at GSRC_RAM. All of the upcoming races for our other series are now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark them down your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Sean, Adam, and Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Mick the Rich Clutch took away the victory here in virtual Daytona. With that said, until next time, servus and sayonara, and as always, race hard, race clean, and see you on the track.